Today on Movie Review, we take a look at 4 questions Stranger Things Season 4 must answer. Okay guys, welcome back to the show. I hope you can easily hear the upgrade in audio. This is my first time using it, so I will continue to get better with it. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. That helps the channel out, lets me know I'm doing the right thing, and I'm doing something you guys enjoy. Thank you so much. Now let's get into it. There's nothing worse than a show that doesn't tie up loose ends and finishes leaving us with a bunch of questions it just forgot to answer. So with only 1 or 2 seasons remaining per the Duffer Brothers and producer Sean Levy, or Levy, I don't know. Anyway, here are the 4 things the show must begin to answer as it begins its trajectory towards its conclusion. Before we begin, am I the only person that's starting to get a little worried about the lack of a Season 4 announcement? Season 1 released on July 15, 2016, and Season 2 was then announced on August 31st, 47 days later. Season 2 released October 27th, 2017, and Season 3 was then announced December 1st, 35 days later. Well, Season 3 released on July 4th, 2019, and it's now September 20th, 78 days later, and still we have no announcement. What's up with that? I don't know. It's just something to think about, I guess. But let's get started with this list. Number 4, Hopper's daughter. Season 3 was a major shift in tone for the series, and while most approved of this, since it gave it its own identity, there's no denying that some of the series' major plot lines seem to have gotten either forgotten or dropped altogether. First is Hopper's daughter, Sarah. Seemingly a plot device to connect Hopper to the missing children running around town in Season 1, the series made a curious decision in the Season 2 finale, giving Hopper and Eleven a heart-to-heart, sorry guys, while driving to close the gate. The Duffers made it a point to show us Eleven knew nothing of Sarah, not even that she existed, and this is after living with Hopper for nearly a full year. You mean to tell me he never tried to make Eleven feel comfortable living alone with a grown man by telling her he has a daughter of his own? Or that a father grieving like he is doesn't even have a picture of his dead daughter up? What gives? My guess is that Hopper's daughter connects to the Upside Down, possibly being either an earlier number than 11 or even having become the Mind Flayer herself. There would be no other reason for the writers to prevent Eleven from seeing Sarah unless she was capable of recognizing her. Just like she recognized Will in a photo in Season 1, she's likely to recognize Sarah, in my humble opinion. For further evidence of this theory, compare the hallway Hopper is crying in while visiting his sick daughter with the hallway the injured doctor is taking shelter in the Season 2 finale. They are indeed the same hallway. Also, in the few scenes we have with Sarah, she's looking around nervous and frantic, similar to Will when the Upside Down and Mind Flayer begin to bleed into his world in Season 2. I've never known that to be a symptom of cancer. Lastly, in Season 1, after being captured by Brenner and company while breaking into the lab, Hopper confidently tells his captors, "No, this is how it's going to go," and makes a list of demands that forces them to let him and Joyce travel to the Upside Down to search for Will in exchange for keeping their mouths shut. But what incentive did Hopper and co. really have to let Hopper and Joyce do this? And why aren't we shown the rest of the conversation? Did Hopper really just say, "I'm the police chief and I can keep all this quiet"? Or did he possibly have much more on them due to his daughter's history with the lab? Time will tell, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're eventually treated to a flashback with the end of that conversation. Number 3, Terry Ives. Eleven's real name is Jane Ives, and we've been shown that her real mother, Terry Ives, seems to be rendered near mute due to the shock treatment she received as punishment for breaking into the lab in an attempt to rescue her daughter. In Season 2, Eleven traveled to the Void in an attempt to communicate with her mother, and it felt like the show was hinting that Eleven might be making some progress, in that her mother's condition might be a result of her being stuck rather than completely brain dead. But after this, she leaves and goes off on a side quest power building type journey that caused an uproar of disapproval from the fans and likely played a huge part in the change of tone found in Season 3, as the showrunner seemed to make every attempt to wipe out what fans didn't like about the previous season, considered the black sheep of the series. I just hope Terry Ives is being held off versus being included in what was cut, because her possible revival and reunion with Eleven has a ton of unearthed potential. Imagine a final upside-down conflict where Eleven has to make decisions between saving her friends and her mother, and Harbour has to choose between his biological and adopted daughters. It could be quite the fan-satisfying conclusion, and I hope it's being left out as more of a result of the Duffers being forced to extend the series with an extra season more than they had planned, instead of it being scrapped altogether. Number 2. What is the Upside Down? Speaking of the Upside Down, what exactly is this place? Another dimension? Another universe? A possible future? And did Eleven create it or simply open a portal to it? Why are there monsters there? Are they discarded test subjects such as Sarah that the lab thought nobody could ever get to? Or do they have monster origins? Here's one question that nobody ever asks. Why do all the monsters match the Dungeons & Dragons monsters present in the boys' favorite game? Are they partly responsible for the Upside Down's creation? Is it because Will's house is so close to the lab and the boys have played the game there? This is again another storyline that went unexplained in Season 3. We need clarification on the nature of the Upside Down. I hope Season 4 spends a good portion world building and explaining its lore. If Harbour did escape to it through the portal, then now is the perfect time to learn about what this place really is, especially if you need to go back there to look for him. And number 1, where is Brenner? In a continuation of the Season 2 subplots that disappeared theme, it was during Eleven's journey of growth with 8 that we were told by one of the lab's workers that Brenner is indeed alive. If you make a statement like that, it must be explored further, and Season 4 will be the perfect time to do it. Curiously, when the American government sent the research team into the Russian facility in the Season 4 finale, it is Paul Reiser's Dr. Sam Owens that seems to be who was chosen to head the project once more, and not Brenner. Which could mean a few things. Number 1, Brenner is head of the program now, and Owens is working under him. Number 2, Brenner is no longer with the program and is now rogue. Number 3, Brenner's whereabouts are unknown because he is the American in the jail cell in Russia. Or number 4, his survival is another one of the scrap Season 2 subplots. I don't think it's number 4, and I certainly hope not. There was a fun Easter egg in Season 3, where if you call the phone number Murray gives, you can listen to a voicemail he leaves Joyce, telling her to call him because he has important information. Predictions are fun, so let me make a couple for the next season. Number 1. Brenner is now head of the program, choosing to stay in an oversight role instead of a boots-on-the-ground one, after the attack by the Demogorgon. He's possibly scarred or disfigured from the attack as well. Number 2. Brenner will call Dr. Owens with news that DNA evidence has been returned and shown that only the Russian scientists were killed in the explosion. Hopper's DNA is nowhere to be found. They will possibly think Hopper is hiding with Joyce, or at least want to talk with her to see what she saw. Number 3. Dr. Owens will be unable to contact Joyce, who has went off the grid, but they will have Murray's number due to it being given to the government in Season 3 when his security was compromised. Owens will call Murray, and this will be what Murray is calling to tell Joyce in the voicemail. In the end, though, it'll fall to the kids to finally contact her, as Mike and Eleven will have been communicating through Cerebro for the past few months. This will of course be the catalyst for everyone getting back together to rescue Harbour, possibly with Brenner reuniting as well and being forced to come face to face with Eleven as he's reminded of the monster he is on the inside, perfectly matching his disfigured face that he sees in the mirror. I really hope Season 4 makes an effort to at least begin bringing clarity to these 4 aspects of the story. There's so much untapped potential for this world, which is actually quite amazing for a show that's already given us so much. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as leave a comment with what you hope Season 4 includes as well. I'm Jason Hebert, and I'll see you next time.